What's good, Ape Nation? It's your boy Phil. I know it's been a minute since you've seen me, but want to say to anybody that celebrates Turkey Day, enjoy your day, spend time with your friends and family. If you're wondering why I'm not surrounded by friends and family, well, there's a pretty good political reason why, and I want to explain that in this video. So many of these, top Democrats, that's on TV, they're still like not understanding why they lost. They're claiming wokeism made them lose. They're claiming, it was the masculinity of Trump. They're claiming all of these things, and none of those were the reason why Trump won and why Kamala lost. So allow me, if you have the time, to kind of just sit with me and just hear me out. Because you're probably like, damn, it's a black man that's saying, Trump should be the winner out of everything. And why didn't he vote for Kamala? Well, okay, let me just break this down. So here's what happened, and here's what's actually happening. So right when Biden got in office, we were coming off of the Trump years. Many of those people that were like, Trump's economy was great. The reason why it was great is because he was doing one simple thing. He was pressuring the Federal Reserve, which made, many citizens have money in their pockets. It didn't get routed anywhere else, let's just say. So when most of these individuals became investors of, AMC, GME, all these other tickers, they held. And when they held, we watched these guys, these hedge funds, these short sellers, these family offices, we watched them run to their banker friends to get money, to keep their short positions open, to keep using, manipulating the stock market. We watched everybody from every background, whether they black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Republican, Democrat, independent, straight, gay, lesbian, whatever. Everybody that got into this stock, we were watching the real criminals. We were watching them steal this entire time for like almost 4 years. Okay. So just know that. And as we're watching this, we're watching, Maxine Waters blowing kisses to Sam Bankman-Fried, who's currently doing prison time for stealing. We're watching all of this. And then, of course, we watched the SEC, ignore everything from FTDs to the threshold list on AMC. We watched them go through all of this and do all of this just to, mock us. They made commercials. They did everything to mock us. Now, mind you, this is 30 to 40% of Americans that bought the stock of AMC and GME, and they're watching everybody from the higher ups make every excuse, ignore everything, while giving slaps on the wrist to actual fraudsters that are in the higher banking sector. So we're watching this, okay? Then comes the election year. The election year comes, and again, Trump came out and said, I'm going to pressure the Federal Reserve as I've done before. Which many Americans remember, yeah, that's when I had money in my pocket because everything is getting higher and higher. Oh my gosh. And at that time, Kamala never even came out with her economic plan, never came out with nothing. But Trump came out and was like, oh, I'm going to pressure the Federal Reserve. Then, Kamala comes out with hers, and it's a little too late because her economic policy, everybody was like, well, how are you going to afford that? And then here's where the deal breaker came. She came out and said, I'm going to respect the Federal Reserve and I won't even question what they do. Like, huh? And then when she had her debates with Trump, You know what she told us, the 30-40% of Americans that's watching the banking sector? She said, look at Goldman Sachs. They're one of the best economists in the world. They even approve of my economic policy. And so what that told 30 to 40% of Americans is, oh, okay, so you're going to protect Goldman Sachs, who's spoofing the market, front running, along with Wedbush and, all these other lames that's manipulating the stock market, preventing us from being successful because we knew we won. Okay? And so, when she said that, that's when she lost. She lost. Soon as she said, I'm going to not pressure the Federal Reserve, all you told 30 to 40% of Americans is, I'm not going to be able to afford no programs because the Fed keeps printing money excessively to the banks every day since 2021. So I'm just going to ignore them, just like Biden was doing. Okay? So since that's the case, you feel me? You told every American, no matter what program you have, you're not going to be able to afford it. And lo and behold, it became true. Why do I know this? Just ask North Carolina. Ask some of these states that went through hurricanes. And when it came down to helping the American people, your party decided to gaslight us, tell us we don't know what we're doing, we're dead wrong, we're stop believing in disinformation. The whole time we're seeing all your receipts. Remember, 30 to 40% of Americans that watched y'all for the past 4 years. We knew that you were going to run. We knew you were going to run away from margin calls. We watched you. But most of the people out there, they don't know this. Meanwhile, you got people on media blaming black men, they blaming white men, they blaming white women, they blaming Hispanics, they blaming all these demographics. They blaming sexism, they blaming misogyny, they blaming, everything else except the debate of policy. Are you not catching what's going on? And then the fucked up part. Here's the fucked up part. Joy Reid. Let's be honest, Democrats. Joy Reid is somebody you really need to be cutting off real soon. She has no power. The only power she does have is the power that you're giving her on MSNBC. So I hope Elon buys MSNBC. But here's the thing about her. She literally just the other day said, oh, Thanksgiving's coming up. If you're a Trump voter, basically, go make your own plates. We don't want to deal with you. So in the midst of 30 to 40% Americans that were right, that say, hey, Trump is the best argument because he's going to be able to afford his programs. Kamala's not going to be able to afford her programs. Sure enough, she's 20 million in debt. Just the other day, she looked like she was drunk talking to her supporters. It's insane. So we were right this entire time not to put your candidate in. We were right. And then on top of that, Trump just was the leader that we needed, honestly. You got other countries willing to go to peace, willing to run away and say, okay, Trump coming in, let's just all not fuck up no more. But then what does Biden do? Biden literally says, here, I know Putin warned us and said he'll attack us if we use long-range missiles. But hey, Ukraine, I'm going to give you access to long-range missiles. Americans don't want that. That's why we voted for Trump. Americans don't want all of our money being outsourced to other countries for no reason. It got to be a reason. It cannot be like, oh, well, Russia's about to take over Ukraine. Okay, but what they got to do with us? Is Ukraine sending us some baddies or something? Like in the midst of that, y'all got to it's got to be a trade. It ain't no trade. It's just us being paymasters, and Americans are suffering from this. And then on top of that, you tell Americans, hey, Americans, it's racist if you don't let these immigrants in. Whole time we know you're trying to illegally win votes with illegals, and you giving them all our money. So when Americans need help during hurricanes, you ain't got no money to pay them. And when it came out that, hey, all the money, most of the money went towards migrants, what did y'all do? Y'all said, oh, well, that's misinformation. That's disinformation. Oh, yeah, don't believe that. Meanwhile, your own White House staff member said, hey, under the aid of humanitarian aid, we're going to give 300 million plus to migrants. So y'all been caking towards migrants to get them in here so they could get in there and vote. So y'all could win because y'all knew Trump was just that powerful, I guess. But Democrats, stop pretending like you don't know why you lost. You lost because the people know that you're helping Wall Street. You're helping them run for margin calls. Most of these Americans, they made investments 4 years ago. You didn't listen to them. You mocked them. And then when they come and show you the evidence, you say, oh, it's not true. It's disinformation. So you're marking off Americans. This is why Americans across the board voted red, red, red. People don't even like Rick Scott, but they voted for him anyways. Why? Because you got to put the American citizen first. You're not doing that. I don't know why it takes all of these analysts. Let me just say, wokeism, we got to stop. We got to get away from talking about this. No, you need to make the argument. Are you going to pressure the Federal Reserve? And if you're not, then you look like you're part of the problem. That's causing Americans to go flat fucking broke. Just remember that. So that's all I got for you. Everybody out there, please understand that, if your family hasn't invited you over because of your politics or your thoughts on politics or your religion or whatever, don't feel too bad. You're most likely an investor who's invested in AMC and GME. Now, here's my update with AMC and GME. Again, once Trump gets in there and pressures the Federal Reserve and their funding and the federal audit from Elon and Vivek starts happening, keep in mind, it's not going to be an automatic MOAS right away. So in order for this to happen, they not only have to stop their funding, but they're going to go through a process where they're trying to make money, okay, to prevent what's the inevitable, which is the MOAS. So we know it's coming. They just need to go flat fucking broke. And when it comes to, when they need to look for shares, that amount of money that they need is going to escalate. Okay. And when it escalates, then they'll go broke faster. And then most of the apes are going to hold. And when we hold, they're going to have to jack the price up because you can't do it in front of Trump. You can't finesse in front of Trump, can't lie. So I'm just saying, people out there, get ready for what's about to happen. The ultimate black swan event is coming. They just been using your money, your tax dollars, federal dollars. They're using all these monies to prevent it this entire time. That reverse repo amounts, they're going down. Like the other day, it was like 148 billion. Remember, there were times where us apes were saying, hey, look at reverse repo. It's at 2.2 trillion, guys. It was 2.5 the other day trillion. Now it's down to 100 something billion. Think about that. We made progress. And so For all you apes out there, I can't wait to party with you. I can't wait to ball with you. I can't wait to say I told you so. I can't wait to get on TV and tell these motherfuckers the fucking truth. The truth is, you were helping Wall Street. Most Americans knew it. Okay? You gaslit Americans, and then you try to shame them on top of that while making them broke. Your argument the argument that Kamala made was I'm gonna go after corporate price gouging instead of just pressuring the Federal Reserve to make the actual trickle down economics work properly. But she didn't want to do that. So this is why black men voted against you that actually understood what's going on. This is why white men voted against you, actually understood what's going on. They didn't care about race. They don't care about what Trump's skin color is. Nobody gives a fuck about none of that shit. Stop trying to paint people as racist. This is about the American citizen. The American citizen that has a driver's license, that has a social security card, that has taxes that they paid. Put them first. Because that's how you was able to get all that money going to the banks. Because we put y'all first. We pay everything. We do everything right. And then y'all fuck us and say, oh, well, you must be crazy. Well, we'll see who's crazy when the MOAS happens. And with that being said, did the shorts cover? Of course not. So what the fuck we talking about? AMC, GME, to the fucking moon.